Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. We're finally here. Can you believe it? You would not believe the chaos in the studio as we've all been scrambling to get this done. Have you ever had one of those days where you just wish that technology worked? I hate it, don't you? But then I love it. Because without technology, I wouldn't see you today. Thanks for waiting for me. You had to wait 9 minutes. That's an eternity. You know, I live by the 10-minute rule. You can do anything in 10 minutes if you put your mind to it. You ever had to clean your house when you see somebody drive up and down the street going, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have company? You can get it cleaned so fast. Well, that's kind of this. It's 10 minutes, that's forever. I don't wanna wait 10 minutes, so thank you. I really appreciate that you waited for us and that you're here for the Tulip Tribe collaboration. I have my coffee. Right about now, I kind of wish it was a glass of wine, but you know, we'll take what we can get. At least I have my coffee. What have you got? Have you got your coffee? Have you got your wine? Are you waiting for the kids? Are you on the bus? Are you watching me from work? Are you eating your dinner? What's happening? Take a moment, type in, let us know where you are, greet the rest of your tribe, get to know each other, because we've got an hour. We'll go a little bit long so that you still get your hour. And we'll have a grand collaboration, but we need you to help each other, get to know each other. It's a grand time. If you're on your phone, remember, turn it sideways, you can get a bigger picture. If the comments irritate you and get in the way of the picture and the flowers, swipe it, you'll go in silent mode. Then when you want to see the comments, bring it back. If you don't want to get rid of the comments, but you don't want them over the pictures, go vertical, and the comments will be on the bottom. If you're on your computer or your tablet, go full screen, get a big picture. I don't know, did we make it onto YouTube or are we doing just, oh, we're on YouTube too, okay. Well, YouTube people, this is what, our third time with you? Thanks for being here, and I can't believe you waited for me, so God bless you. We've got the full team. Caledonia's on hand, greeting everybody. Susie's here. Susie's with our YouTubers, so say, hey, Susie, give her some love. Carolyn is here with our Facebook people, so give Carolyn a bit of love, and again, Caledonia's doing both. Marisa's in the studio with me to look for your comments and make sure and verbalize. David's here trying to keep the technology live. And then, of course, we have a special guest. Chelle's going to be with me on camera. So we've got lots of fun planned. We've got cool flowers. Look at these ranunculus. Do you love it? What do you think? Aren't those the most gorgeous things? These are local grown right here in Hillsboro, which is right outside of Portland, Oregon. Local grower Peter Quartz has the most beautiful ranunculus. You've probably seen me with them before. And then this is one of theirs. Look at this variegation. Is that not cool? Okay, students, if you're watching this after class tonight, because you're not supposed to be watching it during class, none of that, but if you're watching it tonight, you get some of these tomorrow. I got some for you, so that will be pretty much fun. Got some orchids, roses, carnations, sweet William, dianthus, so much to share with you. And we're talking plants and we're talking flowers. So we've got lots of things to share with you today. I put one together, just a quickie to talk about before I brought Chelle up. Floral netting, on trend, you've all seen that. I just turned it into an armature, a vessel, water and flower food, no foam in this one, so it's a foam-free design. Setting in the armature and just locking it into place, okay? So you got it just like so. Then I can add in flowers. Maybe some of the gorgeous ranunculus. Now when the class works with these tomorrow, you'll be doing foam-free in a compote, so you can learn how to work with the floral netting. It's going to be tons of fun. I think you'll enjoy it. Just sliding it down in. Notice how it allows me to support my blooms without having the stiffness of floral foam. So it gives me a little bit of flexibility in there. Coming around. Okay. Now as I work on this, Marisa, what's going on out there? Do we have our tribe? Are they checking in with each other?
Yeah, I can't even keep up right now. So far we have Jacksonville, Wisconsin, Maryland, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Singapore, Tennessee, New York, Canada, Arizona, Florida, and Tatiana is watching in her shop while doing her to-do list for next week.
Oh, Tatiana, isn't that the best? You turn on the computer, you turn on your phone, and you watch, and you make your list. It doesn't feel like you're really working. Question, do you have your shoes on or off? That's my other thing. If I'm doing things when I want to pretend that I'm not working, I always take my shoes off. I feel like a naughty little girl then. So are your shoes on or are your shoes off? Okay, type it in there. Give yourself away here. So I'm just taking some carnations. You know, the lowly carnation is back on trend. I'm setting it just down in. And this particular variety has the most fabulous fragrance. They're just grand. Okay, students, you're working with these tomorrow too because you're doing flowers for the Portland Rose Festival. The Rose Festival has a big event tomorrow night and we are doing flowers for their kickoff. Well, it's not the kickoff, but one of their pre-events. And so the students will be making centerpieces and we've got roses, of course, it's the Rose Festival, and then the white carnations. And you can see when you tuck them down low, it just gives me a little bed. So now, how do I work plants into this? Because the whole thing is about plants. I promised you that. I promised you plants. So what are we going to do? So I went running out to the office and I stole a plant from the office.
Leanne, Lisa, and Christina say shoes are always off.
Shoes off. I love it. Good job, Lisa and Christina. Love you for that. This is a Dieffenbachia. Okay. We use it in the office just to look pretty. And one of the best things about plants in a flower shop is as long as you keep them around, you can go and artistically prune and then add them into your arrangements and still sell the plant. So it's a profit center, a money maker. So if you were with us that week that we did the live that was all about pricing, this is one of those tips for making a little more money. Doesn't hurt anybody, doesn't hurt the plant. But by just dropping a few stems in here, notice how that variegation makes everything look pretty cool and vibrant. Very easy. But then I can turn around and still sell the plant and be on trend. So that's my first tip of the day. So there you go. If you just have plants in your store, you can have added profits by just doing a little bit of artistic pruning, not a lot, just a tiny bit. Then I'm going to set this aside because we want to get started. I know you want to see Chelle and what she has to share with you because she has always amazed us with all the cool things that she brings with her. Anything before we move on? Marisa, David?
Well, Mr. Safety says having your shoes off when you're designing is not a good idea. You can drop a knife.
Okay, so no, I will agree with this, Mr. Safety. If you're designing, if you have your knife in your hand, keep your shoes on. But if you're sitting in your chair, collaborating with the Tulip Tribe, working on your lists and planning your days, take your shoes off. It's okay. You have my permission. David?
So, do you need to condition those plant leaves before you arrange them?
You know, as long as the plant is hydrated and healthy, you don't even need to condition them. If it is starting to fade and wilt, then yes, condition them and do. But when I have a happy plant, I just cut it, stick it right in the water, and it seems to be fine. Great question, whoever answered that. Yeah, Marisa.
And although I'm recognizing a few students on here, but I wanted to ask everyone out there if they can just put a little tulip in the comment section so we can see our students.
Got that? So I want to know who are our students in our tribe. So if you're part of the Tulip Tribe, put a tulip in there. Take a moment, click it. Then we're going to switch over to Chelle and plants. If you know somebody that should be watching this video to learn more about plants and flowers, tag them right now, share this out, let's spread the word, let everybody know about the Floral Design Institute and the Tulip Tribe collaboration. So if you haven't yet, share this video, tag a friend, and join me as we welcome Chelle. Welcome, I'm glad you came. And you've got your shoes
there.
off, don't
And
tell
I
David.
was going to say, but don't tell Mr. Safety I don't have my shoes on. I always wear noisy shoes and I don't want to make noise behind the camera, so I take them off.
Oh my gosh, well now you know the secrets. Back here, she does have her pants on though.
I do.
Pants are on,
Yes, I do
shoes
have
are
pants
off.
on, I
And
promise.
Mr. Safety is going to have a lecture with her after, I can bet, you know.
Yeah.
So now you went shopping today and
I
gathered
did.
all kinds of cool
I had so
stuff.
much fun, yes.
What'd you find?
I found all sorts of fun stuff. Some of it I have to remember what it is, so that's why I hold on to the tags and stuff. I'm going to start with this one here. This is one of the more traditional baskets that people do that I did in a number of studios and shops that I've worked in. with just a regular wicker basket and just some fabulous orchids and a couple little house plants.
I think these are a Dracaena, aren't they?
I
Let's
don't
see, it says it's a
remember.
Moses in a boat is the variety, but I'm pretty sure it is a Dracaena. And they got great coloration with that
That's
hot
the
pink.
reason why
Oh
I
my
got
gosh.
it. I found the orchids first, and then I found foliage that would just really nicely. I don't know if that helps or not. Tipping it a little bit.
Can you
so
get a
can
close
see
up on that, David?
variegation on that.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I'll hold it up and that way you can gather your things while I'll hold it for
And you're
them.
on close-up right now.
Oh, very
Okay,
good.
so look at this
Awesome.
cool variegation. Is that not the best? And it matches the orchids perfectly. Okay, I'm gonna be a naughty girl and pull this. Keep it on close-up, David. But look how cool that color matches. I know I broke that off. So you know what? I'll wear it in the corsage when I go to dinner tonight, so it won't be wasted. But that coloration is so fabulous. Okay, let's go back to full screen here because I know Chelle's got some fun things planned on this.
Yeah.
I just need this. I think this is too cool.
I know, isn't that fabulous? So when he did the close-up there, you probably noticed a lot of the mechanics in here. I left a lot of it exposed so you can really kind of see what's inside there. There's a lot going on in here. I have a little, not tray, the little plastic
A plastic
covers.
saucer?
Thank you,
There
plastic
you go.
saucers. It
I
always
know those
escaped me.
words when
They
you're
were- I know.
live. Oh my gosh. You know,
It
guys,
totally
when you're
escaped you.
live, the words just jump out of your
Just
head.
jump right out of your head.
It's horrible.
So normally I would use probably like the foil wrap for the inside of the basket, but when all else fails, grab a garbage bag. That's what's in here. It's doubled over. I didn't even open it up, folded it, and just placed it down inside there. I still have the plastic saucers for each one of the plants. That way they can water individually and it doesn't all run together because some like a little bit more water than others. And some don't like that much, so they'd be really unhappy if you overwatered them.
There's some real truth to that, so you gotta be cautious.
Yeah. So, like I said, we've got 4 different plants in here. They're matchy-matchy. We kind of did a little grouping there, and I've got the rest of my moss. I really like to wet the moss down before I put it into the basket. Cuts down on the dust and everything. You don't have to worry about that. Helps keep the top of the soil moist in your plants.
Okay,
So
note
they
to
won't have to be-
students, on day 1, your study guide, one of the questions is how do you revive moss? And I'm giving you the answer. Moisten it down just a little bit and you are good to go. And it makes it just so much better.
So we're doing the combo today. So we've got the live plants and then we're gonna add some cut flowers in here too. So in the close-up, you probably saw I've got a little saucer in here with a piece of oasis. And I just set it down in here. Again, like I said, there's a lot of mechanics going on in and underneath the moss here. There's a lot of styrofoam in there to prop these guys up, because I didn't fill the entire thing. The price point would be astronomical if we filled it completely, but I like the size of the basket because of the arch of the orchids. It needed something a little bit bigger. So you can kind of fill in space randomly with paper. I don't really necessarily go with because it'll just get wet and kind of gunky.
Yeah.
So something that can that's a little bit water resistant works really, really well. So the styrofoam will work fabulously for that.
You know, styrofoam bubbles and bubble wrap works pretty well. Marisa, have you got anything going on over there?
Yeah, I have actually a few people asking, do you keep the orchids in the pots, correct?
Correct. Yep. These are not planted into the container. They're each individually potted. So there you go. So now I'm going to spin this around for a second so I can get a little bit better look at where my oasis is. Oh, one other thing that I wanted to mention. When you get your orchids and a lot of your plants, I'm hiding in the bushes here. You can't hardly see me. There's often water spots on things or it's just kind of dirty. So I will use, let me see if I can find my towel here. Either Leaf Shine or the Green Glow. That's what this one is. Yeah, Green Glow. Use it outside. You don't want to get this on your floors at all. Just a little bit on a towel even works really, really nice. And just go over the top of the leaves and get rid of those water spots and it just shines the leaves up really, really nicely.
Well, that works very well.
It works really, really good.
And I like spraying it on the towel rather than the air because then you're not breathing it in and you're not getting it on the floor.
Yeah.
It can be so slippery. That's great.
So a nice little just gloss up like that. Okay, so I need to grab my knife down here. I'm just gonna do a really simple pave kind of a design over here in this little Think of Oasis with some carnations that are these fabulous variegated carns.
That is a
Have some
gorgeous
beautiful color. Pave these in here really nice and tight.
So while she is working on the pave, ooh, bringing in some roses too.
Yep, gotta bring some roses in. Clean this up a
Gorgeous.
little bit. There's a little bit of a.
So while she's working on that, if you've got a plant question or a plant and flower design question or questions about our classes, this is your opportunity. And I know Maurice's looking for your tulip. So if you haven't done your tulip yet, get that in there so that she can see who's joined us, who's part of the tribe. And then I'd love to know, how many of you are first timers? Now that we're on YouTube, which is a different platform for us, and we've expanded into that, I'm finding we have more and more first timers. And so if you are a first timer on Facebook or YouTube, let us know. Susie and Carolyn will reach out to you, and the rest of the tribe welcome them so that we can all get to know each other. Marisa.
So if you wanted to use, say like a hyacinth or a softer stem flower to put in the foam, how would you do that?
You know, great question. It's funny because we did a preview earlier today and a question came up. How do you work with hyacinths? And when you have those soft stems and you're trying to put them in there, I always recommend using a wood pick. And so then, and I'm going to pretend because I don't have a hyacinth here right now, but let's say I had this stem, and we'll pretend this is a hyacinth stem. Just put the wood pick beside it, and if it's a fatter stem, do 2, and then twist that around, wrap it around, and then when you put it in the foam, do the stem with the sticks, and that will go right in and hold it perfectly. Now, I was hunting for a hyacinth because I saw that one question come in on Messenger, and you know, this was the only thing I could find that represented a hyacinth, which it is a hyacinth bloom, but I didn't have enough of a stem to actually show you. The other thing is when you get hyacinths in, and if you go to our website in the resources, in the video library, and type in hyacinth, there's a hyacinth care and handling video. Key is you don't want to cut the bulb completely off. When you buy them, it has the stem and then a shaved bulb. Leave that on until you go to work with it because it has nutrients for the flower. So you want to leave that till the bitter end. Oh, you know what? We got to turn that around so they can see this. Then you can keep working, but they need to see what you're doing because this is so cool. So you brought in a pave of statice, roses, and carnations.
Yep, yep. And that's pretty much it. We've got,
And stay there because I'm going to put that on a close-up for
Okay.
you.
it's easy for the price to just really go through the roof if you make too large of a design with the fresh flowers. So keeping it simple when you've got the large orchids and things like that really helps with your price point. And it doesn't take away from the rest of the design. Side-by-side baskets work really, really great. That's what we used to do all the time for funeral work a lot. Putting a side-by-side with a live plant on one side and a fresh arrangement on the other side, which it could just be a mix of whatever flowers you have on hand. Alstroemeria works fabulous because it lasts the longest, in my opinion, as well as the live orchids. So
You know, it's interesting because by doing it as, you know, the shorter pave like this, these roses and carnation and statice are going to dry, and it's so low they're not going to look wilted, and it will still look good.
Still hold.
So it's going to last like the orchids. That's kind of a great added value.
Works pretty well. Yeah.
So if you like this one, share it, tag a friend, tap the screen for hearts, give Chelle some love, because I know she's got more planned for you, but this is kind of a chance. What else have you got here?
Well, just, you know, if you wanted to dress this up a little bit more, you can always take the twisty ties off and bind it with a little bit of the bouillon wire or
Give it some
ribbon, or
sparkle.
just kind of add some sparkle. You could also add twigs into this. You could do all sorts of things with it. A butterfly always works nicely. A bug, you know.
Maybe a
Kind
bird.
of maybe a bird.
We're in
you know,
Portland.
or
Put a bird on
it. Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
Oh,
So-
I love that. That's beautiful.
right.
So do you like that
That's
one? Tap the screen, give her some love. Marisa, what else is going on?
So when you put the foam in the basket, how is it secured in there?
So it's literally just in its own, let me see if I can kind of dig it out here. It's in its own little plastic saucer. Just one of the ones like what you put in the baskets.
There we go.
Just like that.
Down a
And
little bit. There we go. Let's
honestly-
bring it over here where they can see it. So it's just a liner with foam. And then you ready?
Yep.
Okay. And drop that back down in. Okay.
And then you just tuck that moss all the way back up around it. Make sure that all of your mechanics are hidden.
And then for shifting side to side and front to back, everything is actually wedged so tightly together, it's not going to. And so
Yeah.
it will stay really well.
Yeah, I cheated and I didn't even tape that Oasis into there just for that fact. Now, if this were a larger design, absolutely I would tape it in. But because it's a pave and everything's so
Cool.
nice
Why don't
and
I set this one over here
cozy
so
in
there's
there.
more room? There we go.
Fabulous.
Now, Chelle, you're going to be joining us on Sunday for
Yes.
the symposium. And I know the key question that Chelle asked me when we were talking about symposium, and I just had to laugh like, well, how big can I go? And I'm like, okay, well, I think we've got ceilings that are about 20 feet, but we do have to be able to move it. So I know it's going to be big.
It is going to be big.
And it sounds like the stand is recycled or how?
It is. So my husband is like the wood hound in our neighborhood. We have a wood burning fireplace, so we hunt for wood all the time. So we have wood for our fireplace, but it's just kind of like remnants of people's houses and fences and different like things like that. Fences, especially fence boards, work fabulously for making boxes, the rustic boxes that are often on trend for those table centerpieces. So we have the siding from my neighbor's house stacked up in our garage, and I went out to my husband and I said, I need you to build me a box. And he said, from what? And I said, the siding. So I got to go through and handpick all the pieces that I wanted that have the most character with knots and little gnarls and all sorts of fun things on it. And
Oh, I can't wait to see
he
this.
built me this structure to have these grand bamboo poles standing out of. And as short people do, they make tall things. So that's what I'm doing.
So those of you that are joining us on Sunday for the symposium, it's in person here in Portland. There are, I believe, 8 seats left. So if you would like to join us, we've got room for 8 more people. It's going to be fabulous. All 6 teachers will be here, all doing things that are over the top grand. I know Chelle's going to be gorgeous. Wait till you see it. And then Marisa and Michelle and Carolyn and Jerry and Anna all have knock your socks off things to share with you.
I can't wait to see what everybody else is doing.
So what else have you got
I
to share with
decide.
us
I don't
here?
know which way to go.
Oh, yeah, there's so many things.
All right, so I have this gal. I have not come up with a name for her yet.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't she cute?
Oh my gosh.
So this was given to me as a gift, and I forgot to look up to see where you can find these, but online, because I've seen a few of them around. But
Beautiful.
she actually kind of scared me when I first opened up the package, but she's really grown on me now, and I think she's super cute. I haven't come up with a name for her yet, though, so maybe you guys can help me out and figure out a name.
What should we name this little beauty?
So at home, I've got a fake fern that sits in her head and just kind of cascades over her little face and everything. But I thought how fun it would be to do kind of like a top knot thing. So I went and at Weber's Wholesale, I found all the plants, and I found a money tree. I had no idea this was called a money tree, nor do I know why. But
Interesting.
I thought it was really interesting because I like how this, not stems, but the little,
But turn that so they can see the braiding on that
Yeah.
really well. So as you are looking at this, help us out. What should you name her? Let's do a type in there. What's the name? We'll see what we come up with. We'll have a little show and tell time for naming the vessel so that we can get that going. So Marisa, you pay attention. See if they come up with some great names for us.
so I decided,
So far, we have Harmony and Fiona.
oh,
Ooh, Fiona and
I kinda-
Harmony. Those
yeah.
are good names.
I kind of like Fiona.
And Flora.
Flora's good.
Oh, that's really good. I like that. So with this one, I would think of this as more kind of like maybe an event type thing, something kind of, funky and weird, which happens in Portland all the time. So doing things in water tubes, it's a little bit short-lived, but still I think it would work.
last
It would
through the
still
event,
last
definitely.
through the event. Now, if you wanted to make it something that would last longer, absolutely. Figure out the mechanics. This is a much smaller container in this one. Oh, I don't want to take it all the way out. I packed it with packing peanuts just to wedge
keep
the
it
plant
level
in there
and
to keep
straight,
it level
yeah.
and straight. So I don't want to take it out, but it's just a little 4-inch pot in here. So I'm just going to tuck some of these water tubes down in here. I still have this same color scheme, and you'll see why in just a few minutes.
Oh, you planned this or something?
I did. I didn't know what color I was going to go with. It all just kind of depended on the orchids and different things. So
You know, it's
we just
interesting.
kind of roll
Color
with it.
makes all the difference in the world
Yeah.
when it comes to design. You know, yesterday teacher Anna was doing a lecture with the class on color and how to work with the color wheel and the color
Mm-hmm.
harmony. And that's something we do in every basic course. Marisa, what have you got there?
So we have Artsy Cupcake on YouTube, and she's saying that money trees bring, money trees bring money if you give as a gift, but not if you buy it yourself. And she's in marketing, and she would sometimes send those out to clients as gifts.
That's a good idea. So a
Interesting.
money tree brings money if you give it as a gift. So we need to make sure and
was
gift
gonna
this
say,
out to someone.
We need to make
That's
sure this
us.
thing goes.
How grand is that? Thank you for sharing that, because it's always nice to find out the backstory to things.
So I wanted to bring in a little bit of greenery, so I just tucked a little piece of salal in with this carnation here. And I'm going to tuck this one over here on this side and bring it down just a little bit. I don't want to cover her eyes because I
Nope,
have,
it didn't. It
I
looks
have
great.
plans.
You've got sort of terracing there,
Yes,
so you're good.
Yes, I do. The other thing that I've done before in a few places is if you've got a really hardy greenery like salal, you can actually just tuck it into the soil of the plant because it has moisture in there and it will hold for some time and it will actually draw moisture out of the soil.
Especially hardy things like salal.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
even if it starts to dry, it's still beautiful with that blue-gray color.
Yep, exactly. So the reason why I went with those carnations again was because I found Amaranthus.
Oh, look at that.
Now, it's not the droopiest, it's not the longest quite yet, but it'll work
It's
for what
still
I want
early
to
in the
do.
season.
It's got fabulous foliage that's actually pretty nice and hardy. I mean, I'm not really sure how long it will last.
It's usually not a long laster on the foliage, but this is surprisingly good foliage.
Yeah.
So the hanging amaranthus, I'm cleaning it off a little bit so that everybody can see. It comes in this sort of maroon color, and it'll get even darker burgundy as it matures. Then it also comes in a green and an ivory. So you can do different things with it. It's wonderful for like hanging chandeliers, elevated centerpieces. I know Teacher Jerry is going to be doing an elevated piece for the symposium. My question would be, I wonder if she's going to do any amaranthus in there.
Yeah.
I bet you might see amaranthus at the symposium somewhere with somebody.
Yeah, I
But
didn't
that's
know
nice.
that there was an ivory.
Yeah, it's kind of a oatmeal color.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's not as abundant, but it does have that sort of oatmeal color to
Now, I've
it.
seen the bleached, but I haven't seen the bleached is amazing.
And you know, may I comment on this? We had someone last week, because you were using Amaranthus last week, and they wanted to see a different application on how to design with Amaranthus, so this is really cool.
Here you go. So you ask, we deliver, even if I forget that you asked, because the rest keeps us on it. So that's cool.
Oops, watch out. Water tubes.
Squirting out.
Making a mess. Okay, so I'm going to turn her so I can get the placement of this just right.
That way you guys can see the beauty of the back, so you can
Yes, and I
see.
gotta
So have we
decide.
got any more names for our little gal here?
We had a couple on YouTube. We have Lola and Min Lee.
Lola and
Min
Min Lee. I love it. Cool.
Like
And we also have a first timer on here, Kyle.
Hi,
And-
Kyle.
And then we also have a second timer on YouTube, Yolan.
Hello there, Yolan.
welcome.
Glad you could join us. These weekly gatherings are so much fun. Each week we try to do a little something different. Make sure that we have some education, make sure we have some fun, and make sure we have a lot of beauty to inspire you. So if you have something you'd love to see, always type it in, let us know, send us an email, pick up the phone and call us, and we'll try to work it in one of these days. Now, if you need more inspiration, another place that you can look, if you go to our website, floraldesigninstitute.com, and click the resources. In there we have a slideshow and we have a video library that has lots of different designs that you can watch and follow along. And then if you want even more, we have the Flower Lovers Club, which is our 5 private libraries that are educational. And so many of you are members of the club, and I want to thank you because it's the club members that allow us to offer free education. Because obviously we've got to make a little bit of money somewhere to make sure that all the flowers are paid for. And so it's our students who join us for certification. It's our club members who join us for the educational libraries. You support the Floral Design Institute, and I want to thank you for that. And then if you're looking for more, that's where you go to get it, because it's all there just for you. Oh, this is looking so grand. Flora, Minley, Fiona, whatever.
Serenity.
Harmony, and Serenity. Oh, we have so many names. We may have to change your name weekly
Yeah, we might.
just to keep it so fabulous. Oh, it looks like she has just drapey bangs. How
Yes.
grand. Oh,
We have a first timer watching from Texas. Her name is Cheryl, and she says it should be named Sadie.
Sadie.
Cheryl, Sadie's a
All
good
right.
name. Welcome from Texas. We have a student in class right now from Texas. She flew into Portland to be with us for the 3 weeks, and then she'll be going back to Portland or to Texas looking for work. So we'll be connecting her with our tribe down there. So we love Texas. It's a big old state, though. There's so many parts that it's just almost amazing. David, what's going
So
on?
we have a question. Somebody loves amaranthus, but it shatters. What causes it to shatter?
As it dries, because it's a heavy drinker, and as it dries, it just starts to fall to pieces. But you can solve that. When it first comes in fresh, spray it down with Crowning Glory so you lock the moisture in as much as possible while it is fresh. Then, if you spray it with Petal Proofer or even a heavy-duty hairspray, it helps to seal it so that it doesn't shatter all over. You can get it to be almost everlasting if you've got a nice hairspray on that or a Petal Proofer. So key is to get it hydrated as much as possible, lock that moisture in with Crowning Glory, and then as it does dry, spray it down with Petal Proofer or hairspray and keep it from shattering, and it'll hold really well. So that's a great question.
Aquanet.
Aquanet, heavy duty spray.
I use
Think back
Aquanet.
to the 70s and 80s. Can we turn it around so they can
Yes, let
see?
me
You've
put
been doing so many
one
cool
more.
things here. And they're all wondering, what's she doing? What's
I
she
know.
doing? There, okay, what do you
There she
think?
is.
Do you like it?
And going on a close-up.
Okay.
There we go.
If you love it, tap the screen, share the love, tag a friend, let them see what Chelle created, share the video, because isn't that the greatest? Just so sweet. Oh my gosh. Absolutely grand. I love this. I think this turned out so cool. Now we just have to figure out who we're going to gift it to so that money
Yes,
comes. So we got to get the money plant.
I want it.
Risa wants it. Oh my gosh.
We could even take a little U-glue dash and put some earrings on her or something. I was thinking about
wouldn't
that the
that
other
be
day.
fun? Oh,
Put
yeah.
little earrings on her.
Earrings would be so great
Yeah.
on that. We need Michelle
So right
with
there.
her orchid earrings because
Yes.
she could do that all. Oh, that's
That would
great.
be fabulous. So I have a cousin Cheryl in Texas. Are you my cousin Cheryl, the first time watcher? That's what I want to
Would
know.
that be funny? Okay, did you bring your own family to be
I
here?
might have. I
Oh
might
my
have.
gosh.
So I'd probably finish this off a little bit more with a few greens in the back just to tuck it in really nice, but definitely covering all the mechanics with moss. Either Spanish or just the regular sphagnum moss works great. So
And just put it in.
Yep.
Excellent. While you organize
cute.
yourself, I'm going to stop
Okay.
for a second here and show a couple things and give you a moment reprieve. As we're talking plants, the terrariums are so on trend right now. And so I grabbed one that we've used for some other things. You may recognize this. And doing plants and flowers can be so simple. It doesn't take a lot. You know, just taking a single succulent and then a vessel, cleaning it out a little bit. So I'm just going to take it out of the pot here, breaking it down. So I just want the plant. And one of the things with succulents, they're so hardy, so long lasting, you don't even really need the whole root system. You can just clean it off so that you've got just the plant itself, getting rid of any of the dead portions. You want just the pretty, so that you've got a gorgeous plant. Then taking tiny bit of moss.
Here.
I've got some right here. I'll steal
Okay.
from your other plant. I'll just steal it off your thing.
That
Just a
works.
little bit of moss. Doesn't take very much. And I don't know if it's happening in your area, but in our area, you can't even keep plants in stock. They're so popular right now. And so doing things that are fast and easy and profitable, so just the succulent tucked in with a little bit of moss, and then you could mist it to keep it moist. Then to add a flower, it doesn't take much. Ranunculus are amazingly long lasting. And we always think of them as being fragile, because I'm not going to have a water source in here, but I'm going to just take this ranuncula, cut it down. This was actually one that had broken. And then I'm going to nestle it in here, down into the moss, and raise the plant up a tiny bit. There we go. And this, with just a drop of water, David, tell me where to position it so they can see. I'm gonna, whoops, I'm pulling it apart, so I'm gonna have to reposition here. There we go. And then put my plant in here. Am I close?
There we go.
Okay. There, you're on close up.
Does it look decent?
Twist it just a little bit. There we go. A little more. And then stop there and then go back the other way.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So something as simple as a single ranuncula, a single succulent, tucked into the terrarium, gives you a really beautiful look for a desktop. You know, right now it's Administrative Appreciation Week. So if you have a support person in your office, maybe your wife supports the house, maybe your husband supports the house, maybe your mate supports the house, maybe it's a daughter, a son, whatever, and you want to do a special thank you. It's a very simple, wonderful thank you. It does take a little bit of water to make sure the ranuncula lives, but just drop it in there. It doesn't take a lot, and the moss will hold that moisture, and then the succulent sits there. Eventually, the ranuncula will dry and still look cute, and then you can just mist the succulent to keep it alive, and then when you get tired of the dried plant, pull it out, twist the succulent around a little bit, and keep it that way. So it's a real long-lasting plant gift for a friend or for yourself. It's interesting how much plants are becoming a very important part of the flower world, and a little bit of knowledge goes a long way, but we all have to keep expanding our knowledge on that. So if you like that one, tap the screen, and then I know that Chelle has one more thing to share with you. Chelle, we've got about 10 minutes, so we've got to
Okay.
keep track. Marisa, is there anything we should be answering before we get moving on here?
Well, I do have, I think, in my opinion, a winner for the name. Cindy thinks it should be Tootsie.
I like that.
And
But
someone else said you need to put a little blush on her cheeks.
Yeah, she does look a little pale. We could do that. I'll just see
So Tootsie with blush and earrings.
Tootsie. I like it. I like it.
I would like to take a moment to shout out to our Tulip Tribe students that took the time to post their tulips.
Yay, thank you. Who's we got there?
So we have Melissa, Twisted Tulip, Catherine, Linda, Nancy, Marmac, Michael, Lori, Angela, Michelle, Laura, Debbie, Kathy, Cheryl, Lisa, Gayla, and Judy.
Wow,
Woohoo!
that's grand. So
Hello,
hi,
friends.
women's and men's. I'm glad you joined us.
And we had
David.
several of our fans from Texas who said, who is it? Who is it? We're hiring. So we'll get back to them and make sure we get them on our job list.
Okay, yes, and you may not know that. If you're a graduate, I do keep a job list where shops call in saying they're looking to hire somebody. All you need to do is pop me off an email and I send it to you. I just keep it in my computer on an Excel spreadsheet and I can send it to you so you know who's hiring in your area. If you need to hire someone, send me the information at my email. It's Leanne at floraldesigninstitute.com, and I'll be happy to add you to the list because we do have graduates all over the world and they love to be able to work, some as permanent employees, some as temps, some as freelance. So depending on what you're looking for, it's great. And then if you're looking for work, once you have graduated and you're part of the trained tribe, we're happy to refer you out there because we need employees to help get all these flowers out in the world. And with Mother's Day coming and the wedding season coming, it's going to be crazy busy. In fact, our next basic course, we just had the night class graduate last night. So congratulations to the night students. That was very exciting. And then we have a class going right now that will be graduating just before Mother's Day. And then our next class after that starts on June 3rd, which the excitement of that one is the June 3rd class gets to work on the flowers for the Portland Rose Festival. And that's kind of fun. We do all the flowers for the princesses, for the parades, and it's a great opportunity. So what have you got here? You've got a snake plant or Sansevieria.
Yes.
Some people call it mother-in-law's tongue.
Oh, yes, I've heard that too. It's not as
Or
nice.
iron plant because
Yeah.
it just lasts forever and ever and
Yes,
ever.
I love these. And I hear they do a fabulous job of like cleaning the oxygen in your house. I mean,
They
plants
are
do that anyways. That's what they chew on is our breath and things.
And they do, they
Sounds
keep the
weird.
air clean. So you've got a little bit of a protea down here, a leucadendron.
Correct.
And
Yes.
it looks like little pine cones. So if you're
I
from the
know they
Pacific
do.
Northwest, yeah, it looks like that. And then a little bit of kangaroo paw.
Yep,
coming
and
in
those
here.
are in water tubes. The leucadendron I just poked right down into the soil. And then I was gonna do,
And that's on a close-up now.
Okay,
Okay.
so you can see the water tube with the kangaroo paw. There we go.
and with the billy balls here, I'm just poking those straight into the soil also because they're such hardy little guys.
They're gonna dry
They're gonna,
beautifully.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna flip that around so they can see because it's on close
Oh,
up.
sorry about
there
that.
we go. You know,
There
are
we
we
go.
back in there now? Can they see that? Are we there?
I put it back on close-up.
Yeah, that way they can see. And that way that shows a little better exactly. So you can see the billy balls tucked down low directly into the soil. Kangaroo paws in water tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Then the Leucadendron protea tucked directly into the soil because it dries beautifully. And it's not going to hurt the plant to have those in there, so that will hold great. And then it looks like Spanish moss is what you've used to
Yeah.
hide your mechanics.
Yeah, and I can see a water tube back here, so I got to add a little bit more to make sure that that's nice and covered up. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I also think that in this kind of a plant, because it's such a dry, arid plant anyways, you don't have to water it that often. You could even put just like a little piece of like foil on top of the soil, and then just add a piece of oasis on top of that, and then add a little bit of a floral pop
Cool.
just on top of the soil.
You know what, as you're looking at that, add a few billy balls to the back, flip it around and turn it around so that they can do, and I'm gonna grab one more thing, because I know that this would be so cool. I have to share with you.
Fun.
And you know what's interesting about the snake plant, Shell? When I used to work at the greenhouse, literally that's such a low maintenance plant. We would have these like underneath the benches and with no light, and they would just thrive.
They do. They do. Yep. I have them on the headboard of my bed, and I water them like maybe once a month,
Yeah.
once every other month.
That way it's all sided, you've got your flowers everywhere for it.
So there's
Cool.
just a little bit of something to fill back there. Maybe bring this one down a little bit. I just noticed I can see some of my container. I need to change that.
Is that vessel totally filled with garden soil?
No, I'm glad that you brought that up because this is actually just another potted plant that I put a false bottom in here with styrofoam, It's got another plastic liner, and then it has the 8-inch pot inside the plastic liner. So it's not actually potted into this pot. This pot has a hole in the bottom, so you wouldn't want to plant directly into this unless it were going to be an outside plant.
Whoa.
So that works
So
really
then-
nicely.
When you went shopping today, you picked up some curly willow for me that I'm gonna use for another project. But as you were working on that, I realized, you know what you need is some of my willow, because
Yes.
this is Scarlet Willow, which is the red color. And see how cool that is with the terracotta?
terracotta.
So you picked the absolute most perfect thing. And if we just take that and place it right down into the soil, just like you did everything else.
Yep.
It won't hurt a thing. And then bring another stem right down into the soil. On the opposite side. And then bring it and lash it, creating depth and excitement.
You need a
It
little piece
all of a sudden adds so much value to the plant because you're adding size and scale, space, depth. All your elements and principles that we teach in floral design can be incorporated into plant design, just like you would. Let's see, where do I want to tie this one? Maybe bring it over here. I'll turn it so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Just bringing it and tying it down here. David, what have you got there?
Well, you've got a very good side note here, and that is that snake plants are toxic to cats and dogs.
Okay, so it is a toxic
know.
one to animals. So people, that's something we all forget, that so many plants are okay for people, but toxic for animals. So if you do have pets, you want to talk to your poison control center and make sure you know which things, and if you're selling it, be aware of what could be bad for a plant, a bad plant for an animal. So now you can see how it all just kind of comes together. I put most of it on the back side, maybe bring one more to the front side, just so that it's not naked, to add a little depth on this side. And then,
They're loving it.
Nice.
so we've got a collaboration on this
Yes.
one. I loved, I mean, you were just speaking to me as you were putting all these colors. I thought, oh, this is so cool, I have to do more. And then it just makes me want to play. You know, you could even then take, because so much of value in floral design is just making sure that the eye keeps flowing through. So bringing some down clear to the very bottom. I might need some of your bouillon wire for that
Yeah.
one. I'll let you kind of
Yeah, that's what I was going to add. Is this container is actually a little large for this plant because the plant is not as tall. But as this plant grows, it's going to, you know, get a little bit taller, speak a little bit more to the container.
And
but-
so bringing some down all of a sudden solves that.
And the curly willow would dry like that,
Yes.
wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so great about all of these items in this particular design. Even the flowers are going to look fabulous for a very long time. Kangaroo paws, the tubes will hold them for a while, and then they may dry and look just great. You may have to pull them out.
Yeah.
Billy balls, they're just gonna hold, no problems whatsoever. So you've got so many choices. We gotta put more around there. I'm just loving how that looks. And you just
too.
add some more in there. There's some there. That's just so pretty. So much for the curly willow I needed for tomorrow.
We'll have to tear it
But
apart.
you know, so Marisa, David, while we are finishing on this, anything else that we need to be aware of out there?
Well, a shout out to Alana and Amy. They just posted their hearts. And, hearts, I'm sorry.
They're tulips,
'Cause yes, because I was going to say Donna likes Chelle's heart bracelet, so I got those mixed up.
Oh, thank you.
I know, isn't it funny how when you see something, all of a sudden your words go bye-bye? There we go. So I'm even bringing this one up into the plant and then bringing it back down so that it pulls your eye from the top down into the bottom. So what I'm doing is increasing the unity by tying it all together, literally tiring, the pun intended. But by increasing the unity and the scale, tying it together by dropping your eye downward, then adding volume and space adds visual value. Everything fits together. So to you, the tribe, as Chelle is working on finishing this up, do you have any last minute questions that you'd like us to answer? Any questions about being a florist? About flower school? While you're thinking and typing, I want to remind you that the symposium is this Sunday. I'm so excited. It's our 50th anniversary. It's kind of amazing to think about that. 50 years. We started in 1969, and we've actually got some graduates that are coming back. Not from 69, I couldn't find any there, but I have a graduate from 1971 who will be joining us, a graduate from 1972 who will be joining us. We have Teacher Beth. Many of you remember Teacher Beth. She's retired now, but she's going to be here. And then Eric will be here. Joseph, another graduate, plans to be here. And all 6 teachers are going to be doing amazing things. We've got so many fabulous designs planned for you. And I just ordered lunch. That's good too, I can promise you. And we've got mimosas planned in the morning, so it's going to be a full day of creative genius. And then, we can't tell you what it is yet, because we're going to announce it that day. Sunday, we have another announcement of a celebration for our 50th anniversary that's coming up that I know you're going to love. And we'll bring it up next Wednesday on the live. But our symposium guests get to find out first, because it's a very, very limited opportunity. And it's a big to-do-y for our 50th. So we've got lots of things going on there. It is exciting, but it's still a secret, so we can't tell. So I'm going to start clearing out a little bit so we can bring arrangements back out. David and Marisa, is there anything we need to talk about while we clear our space here?
Christina would like for you to do a terrarium demonstration live.
Oh.
Okay, so I don't have a terrarium today, but we should do a terrarium, and that's a good idea because they are so on trend right now that it would be silly not to. So we may just have to do that one of these days.
Leave it right there.
Leave
We've
it
got a
there?
request for a close-up, and we're going to do that right now.
Okay, and then Chelle, if you'll move the things off the table on that side, and we'll get ready to bring some things back. And
So I'm
then
doing a close-up in motion, so just
Okay.
so you
you look in the top drawer of the cabinet, over to your side. There we go. There's a glue dot.
Yes.
Grab that.
Reading my mind.
So there you go. I'll let you have those over that way. And we've got to stay separated because
Sorry.
he's getting a close-up of that for a second. Are we still close up?
Nope, we're back to full screen.
Okay, so then let's push her, or him, I guess.
The big guy.
And then we've got this one, so we're gonna have you vote. Which is your favorite? We've got the terracotta pot, okay? So there's number 1. Let's scooch it clear to the far corner, right over there. Then we have the basket with the orchids. So that's 2 of them. Okay, I'm gonna push it clear to my corner. Then we have Harmony and
Tootsie.
Tootsie.
and
And her little sister.
oh my gosh, my little sister. And I think she needs an earring.
Oh, yes. I see where you're going with this.
So we've got that one. So you've got 3 to choose from. Which is your favorite? The basket, Tootsie, or the terracotta pot? Let us know which you like the best. Oh my gosh, and now we've got an earring on Tootsie and her little sister. Oh, I love it.
Tootsie's on a close-up.
Oh, that's the greatest. I'm so glad you brought Tootsie
You
in.
should just see it right now. It's just like Tootsie, 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 Tootsie.
So I think you have a winner.
Yes, I think
you
so
got
too.
it.
And ironically enough, that was my nickname as a kid. That's what my dad called me.
No
so that was
way.
seriously, yeah.
Okay, well,
That's really
Tootsie
funny.
the second and Tootsie the
See the
first.
Yes.
Thank you so much for everybody. Do you get the earring in there, David? Does that
Oh, yeah.
show? Okay. Now, if you haven't shared this video, please do. Share it with your friends. Spread the word. Let them all get to know Chelle. If you can join us on Sunday for the symposium, we have 7 spaces left, or is it 8? 7 or 8? Does anybody remember? I don't know. We have 7 or 8
Filling up.
spaces left. I know somebody just registered just before we went live, but I took that one into consideration. So we've got 7 or 8 spaces left on Sunday. Then the basic course, if you want to join us online, you can join us today. It's self-paced, it's ready to go. You can get started and you can be creating Tootsies in your world for Mother's Day. If you need more inspiration, join us next week. On Wednesday, we'll be live again, 3 o'clock, same place, same time, same story. So, Chelle, thank you for joining us. This
Thanks
was
for
pretty
having me.
great.
This
Oh
is
my
fun.
gosh.
Yeah.
Thanks to Susie, Caledonia. Thanks to Marisa, Carolyn, David. Shout out to the team, because without the team, we couldn't be here for you. And thank you to the tribe. I really appreciate you giving us an hour of your life. Look forward to seeing you next week. And for now, get out there and do something you love.